The success rate of treatment centres is between 2 and 8%. Ours is 98%, and we're very proud of that with 11,000 patients. I was almost aggressively adamant that I'm going to spend the rest of my life finding out what's going on. Alcohol, drugs, are 1% to do, alcoholism and addiction. This is the stuff we need to know, but nobody's saying that because 90% of the industry is money making. This is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. I see miracles every day. I see people are healing at our clinics from cancer, from Alzheimer's, from addiction, from PTSD. We cure addiction.
What people can implement today to help their mental health.
If you do these things, your life will change from tomorrow. Absolutely change. Impossible not to.
Ready, baby? Recording?
I'm ready.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.
Oh my God, these people helping people!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of People Helping People. Feels good. If it is your first time joining us, welcome to the show. And this show is turning real conversations into real life impact. So we want to thank everybody for being a part of the People Helping People community. And I am so elated for today's show. I'm just beyond excited for so many reasons. But we have somebody who has done so much with their life in finding purpose and service of others. And I'm not going to waste any time. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the show, Dr. Robb Kelly. There he is, legend. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, man. Looking forward to this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as I was saying before, man, I mean, I could have gone down the list of your credentials. You have done so much in your life and bounced back from so many dark places. And, I would just love for you to just go ahead and give us a brief introduction of yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Dr. Robb Kelly, here over San Antonio. But as you can tell by the accent, I'm from not from Texas anyway. Manchester, England is where I grew up. I grew up into a musical family, so that was my goal, is to become a pro musician. Took my first drink at the age of 9. And, there wasn't a lot known about alcoholism back in the day, but it did hit me, and I ended up homeless, losing my children. I remember the day they took my children out of my arms, age 1 and 3, because I'd been drunk for 24 hours, 48 hours, and the children not been fed or changed diapers. And, just the lowest of the low. I died twice on the streets. They brought me back to life, and I hated them guys for that. I didn't want to live, and crazy things happened. I had a spiritual awakening. 20 years, I came over to Texas to do a talk for 3 weeks, and I never went home. And the rest kind of has rolled out. I have 5 offices now: Dallas, San Antonio, Manchester, England, where my daughter of 30 years estrangement now head office, and then Switzerland, Spain. So yeah, it's a crazy journey, and people often. I'm 65 next month, and people go, "Are you ready to retire, Rob?" And I go, "I'm never going to retire, man. I'm just not going to do it because." We're a multi-million-dollar company. We get to do a lot of stuff like work with, these great people that I work with. But you know what? I believe in God because He saved me off the streets. And I'll tell you this, guys. When I get to heaven and I face God, you know what He's not going to ask me? He's not going to ask me how much was that car or how much was that house, Rob. He's going to ask me one question: how many people did you save? How many people did you bring to me? And I want a big number, Alex. I want a big number.
Yes. Gosh dang. That is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. I really want to break that down though. When did that spirituality start to creep into your life? And what did that look like? What did it feel like? Was it subtle? Was it overnight? I'm curious, break down that moment.
Yeah, it was instant, so I had a bit of problem with being molested at church. So I didn't believe in God or anything. I believe in God today. I believe in a spiritual God. I don't go to church. I don't read the Bible because I really think that God doesn't want me at 11 o'clock in a building on a Sunday to receive blessings. I
Mm,
receive blessings every single day. I see miracles every day around me that are happening with people. But I was on the streets. I'd been on the streets for about 14 months. It was a Sunday night, Monday morning around 2 a.m. and around the back ends of Manchester. So there's only factories and offices, empty offices at that time in the morning. No cars, no people, nothing. It's desolate. And it was pouring down with rain. And I dropped to my hands and knees and I was trying to cry like a baby. Now, I wasn't crying because I'd lost my children or my wife or all the stuff that I used to own. I was crying because that was the first time I realized that I couldn't stop drinking.
mm,
I looked up to the sky and I still don't know why. I looked up to the sky and I said these words: if there's a God up there, I can't do this on my own anymore. I
mm.
still tear up when I say that. 30 seconds later, a guy come around the corner. He'd missed his last bus home from a Bible study. So he'd been walking an hour, 2 hours. He took a shortcut he's never taken before and he came up on me. And we chatted for a bit. I went back to his house. And that's where my journey started, even though, the next day I met a guy called John at a meeting, which we've never been able to trace since. And what he taught me is what I use today. The neuroscience and the quantum physics that we study backs up that spiritual awakening. Is the mindset inside the brain, hence the say mind over matter. My mind, which is energy, you can't touch it, feel it, you can't see it, you can't hear it, but it has to connect with another energy outside me. When that happens, and we change the way you think, we change the patterns in the self-sabotaging neural pathways and part of the brain, our DNA changes. And
Mm.
that is what we're known for, is you can have an amazing life, man. You really can.
Truly. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That story touched me for so many different reasons. I recently found my spirituality, and I want to say, I want to preface this that I haven't drank since I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and Crohn's disease, both of which almost took my life. And that was back in 2019. I spent the better half of 2 years in and out of hospitals, and I just recently, I looked up and like you, I everything was crumbling. My business was bleeding me out. I had started people helping people. Don't realize how recent this was. I had started people helping people, and for whatever reason, I still was bleeding out. The boat was filling faster than I could bucket it out.
Yeah.
And I looked up and I said, you know what? I'm ready to start a relationship. I'm ready to build a relationship with you, God. I don't know what form you take. I don't know what this is going to look like, but here's my hand. I am your vessel, and I am here to build this relationship with you. I pushed back on that so hard for so long as a young man because it was you need to.
Yeah.
You come to church. There's this like perfect structured way to go about being a person that is serving God. And that I just felt so, it was very hard for me to wrap my head around listening to those constructs and realizing that path wasn't there for me. But when you say, finding God and having that relationship with him, how it changed your life, I resonate with that in such a big way because my life took a 180 right then and there. It was almost overnight. He had been waiting for me. He had been
Yeah.
waiting. And yeah, I'm trying not to get emotional throughout this whole story, to be honest, just because of the impact that it made. I'm curious because I find God within myself and in the world around me in gratitude. I find God in helping the people and seeing them feel good about telling their story, giving as much as I can possibly give. I know things aren't the thing that make the world go around, but it feels good to be able to do that, right? So I'm curious where you find God. This is a two-part question. Where do you find God, and how do you keep your relationship with God strong?
This episode is sponsored by the Diabetes Network of Arizona, a community built by people living with type 1 diabetes for people living with type 1 diabetes. They host Arizona's only family camp for type 1 diabetics, giving kids and family a place to connect, learn, and feel understood. Every dollar raised stays right here in Arizona, helping local families get the care and supplies that they need. No one should ever face diabetes alone, and with your help, they don't have to. You can make a difference today by clicking the donation link in the description. The Diabetes Network of Arizona, building a stronger, healthier Arizona together. Let's get back into the episode.
So God is here right now. Like I said, he doesn't need me in a certain place on a certain day at a certain time to receive blessings. I get it all the time. And I think most alcoholics, addicts, depressed, PTSD guys, once they recover, we're chosen, man. We're special. You know, I've helped over 11,000 people, 98% success rate, money back guarantee, all that stuff. Because I truly know that God is part of this and it's not me. So I often say to people, I wish I could tell you I was this clever, but I'm not. Because if you think for a second that this stuff behind me has any effect on when I sit down in front of another person, you're mistaken. It doesn't. So God's around me all day. You know, I've received so many miracles and blessings that I cannot doubt it. I cannot doubt the presence of God here. The reason why I keep it, or how I keep it, is I see miracles every day. I see people are healing at our clinics from cancer, from Alzheimer's, from addiction, from PTSD. We cure addiction. There you go. I've said it. We cure addiction. I'll give you your money back if we don't. Can't cure alcoholism because of the hypothalamus. We'll get into that shortly. But we're blatant. We'll cure it. Yeah, because God gives me, so God sends me people to heal. So he's already blessed them people. Nobody sits in front of us by mistake. I learned that a long time ago, you know, and he provides with miracles. And here's the crux, guys. And here's what people go, what? I ask him for stuff. God, I want a big house. Why? Every Sunday, we have what's called sober Sundays at my house. I don't care if you got depressed, not even alcohol, drugs, just sober mind. You've moved on. You're achieving stuff. Let's get round to the house. You got the pool and all that. It's about 660 people in there, to 100 people, and we have fun. So he gave me that house, you know, and every single day I get up and I have 20 seconds that I say, thank you, I'm your vessel. What do you need? What do you need doing today? And he makes me kind, Alexander. He makes me patient. He makes me listen to people because I'm the guy from the gangs. I wasn't always a doctor. Let's put that out there. I was a guy from the gangs. I was the guy that would literally, you know, think of the worst thing you could. I do that, no problems. I would drop you where you stand. I've not got a problem with that. I was very aggressive. I was a bodybuilder. I was a fighter. I was on steroids. I would kill anybody around me. And he's transformed that. But guys, you have to realize that you have to go through A to live in B. You can't be thrust to help people if you haven't been through it. So my big bugbear is therapists and psychologists who's never been through the addiction side. You cannot help me. I went to school, but I don't care. You see, what you don't understand is you don't know what I will do to you if you won't let me drink. You have no idea. Your family won't find you. And whoa, that's how I think. And God's given me all this information. For me, my time on the streets and everything I lost was like a semester at Harvard University because the stuff I learned today. And then once you start working with people, once you start helping people, every single hour I do it. Every hour I'm doing it. I'm blessing people, monitoring from as soon as I leave the house. I mean, I'll stop at gas stations when I see, you know, mom's trying to put $10 of gas, anything like that. It's not my money. We give it away. And I think that relationship, right? So it's not a belief in God. It's not an understanding of God. It's a relationship with God that I have today. And that relationship is like any other relationship. Like if you're married, it's supposed to be a 50-50 deal. If it's the 80-20 deal, the marriage isn't going to last because you're putting so much in that maybe the husband isn't. It's a 50-50 relationship. I have to do my part and he has to do his part. And between the both of us, huge miracles happen on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Really well said. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that. And I think it's just so interesting hearing how other people see and feel and experience their relationship with God, because it is ever changing, it is ever growing. And like you said, with that 50-50 mentality, it is so true. Give what you can give and you will receive. That's beautiful, man. And as you're talking about all of that as well, I'm thinking, I come from Oregon. Oregon is a place riddled, and everywhere is riddled with addiction, but the suicide rates in Oregon are extremely high. I come from a background of people that are addicted to absolutely everything. I've lost most of my friends that I grew up with, which I think is a very common story for so many people across the world. But I want to know your definition of addiction.
So addiction is so alcoholics are born, drug addicts are made. There's three parts of brain that differ. But let's talk about addiction, which is the addictive personality. It changes you into a different person. It changes you into a nasty person. Now, you become reliable and you become addicted to the drug that you're taking. And the drug doesn't necessarily have to be a powder or an alcohol. It could be the gym, it could be food, it could be sex, it could be porn, but it changes the structure of your brain. And childhood trauma is the gateway drug for any kind of addiction because we repeat with the basal ganglia over and over again. It turns you into a monster that we're
I'm sorry
not.
to interrupt. What's the basal ganglia?
The basal ganglia, so there's three parts of the brain that's really interesting when it comes to like alcoholics and addiction. One's the basal ganglia. Now, the basal ganglia is our repetition strengthened confirms part of the brain.
Mm.
It's like if I want to be a pilot, I need 10,000 hours in the air. And the basal ganglia, imagine a clock face. You just go, the more we do something, repetition strengthens, and then it becomes a working part of the brain. So you can ride a bike without thinking, fly a plane. That's the basal ganglia. Now, the hypothalamus is this is what we're known for as well, the hypothalamus work. So the hypothalamus is our survival part of the brain. It tells human beings from birth, you need to drink water and eat food to survive. That's it. Survival 101. If we don't get that, we know we're going to die. Well, the hypothalamus with alcoholics, that it's born as a default, and eventually it'll hijack the brain and it will tell the prefrontal cortex to drink alcohol only to survive. So if my survival part of the brain is telling me to drink alcohol to survive, then kids and houses and cars, they go by the bye-bye. And while I'm drinking one bottle, I'm trying to think where I get the next one from.
Mm.
So
So
it's
it
the different
overpowers.
parts of the brain.
It takes the wheel and
Yes.
drives. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's really important because people think that we could go out in the high street now and we could ask 10 people what alcoholism is, and they'll say one of two things. It's somebody who can't stop drinking or somebody who can't control the drinking. Alcohol, drugs have 1% to do with alcoholism and addiction. 1%. It's not the problem. You see, I never had a drinking problem. I had a thinking problem.
Mm.
Now, before you start screaming at Alexander for having me on, go Google me. We've done our research. I've wrote for Harvard. I work for the government, CIA. I work for movie stars. All this stuff. You know, we know our stuff because when I came off the street, I was angry at the medical fraternity because they couldn't tell me what was wrong with me, and they kept saying, "Rob, just don't drink because of your children." And I kept doing it, and I couldn't stop, and nobody could tell me why. So when I came up, I eventually had that spiritual awakening and came off the streets. I was almost aggressively adamant that I'm going to spend the rest of my life finding out what's going on,
Mm.
you know? And it's things like once you involve the family systems, where people get it wrong in treatment centers is they'll bring the family in and during the hours visit, the family get to bash dad. Well, he did this and he did. And we found that wasn't even 1% of healing. So what we do is we bring the family into the realm. They have to do 2 hours a week. The patient does 7 hours a week. And what we found is when the woman goes, okay, let me speak about my husband, and we go, no, 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 this isn't about him. This is about you. And they
Mm.
go, it's not my problem. So, Mrs. Smith, can you tell me why you allow him to come home 2 or 3 nights a week and get into a fist fight with you in front of the children? When we invite the mother, let's say, and anybody over the age of 18 onto the sessions permanently, the success rate of the alcoholic, addicts, PTSD goes up by 42% alone.
Wow.
this is the stuff we need to know, but nobody's saying that because 90% of the industry is money making. You know, they're
Mm.
not interested if you relapse or not. They have no skin in the game if you relapse. They don't care. In fact, they'll tell you before you leave the premise, well, 1 of 10 of people you will really. This is a permanent solution for a temporary problem, is what we have.
Yeah. Gosh, man. You saying that it is a permanent solution for a temporary problem is so incredible to hear that, and to have somebody with the credentials like yourself who has solved this. And
Yes.
it's not just saying I have solved this and I have the answers. The proof is in the pudding, right? You've put in the work. And not only that, you've been in that position before and made it your lifelong goal to get there. So I'm going to give you one of these. So incredible. Absolutely. And as you're talking about that, I'm thinking about, my sister lost her husband recently, within the last, 4 or 5 years. And he was an addict and was undercover, a lot of which, we didn't even know was happening. And I sit here and I question, could I have done anything? Right. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to like put everything together. This whole episode is going to be a bit emotional for me because of where I'm from and the things that I've experienced, but also very therapeutic. So I appreciate you being here. But what could I have done differently? Is there anything that I could have said? And obviously that's not a burden for me to carry, but I still wonder, and I know there's so many other people in the world that can relate to that question. Either they're seeing somebody sliding down that slippery slope right now, or they have lost somebody in the past, or maybe somebody they see that are on the cusp of becoming an addict. What would you say to them?
You can't, if nobody wants help, you can do nothing.
Mm.
And if they do want help, you start dialogue and you get them help. But 99.9% of us, when we're out there, we don't need help. You can't help me. And this is where they cross over to enabling. It's like you have to have boundaries for yourself and boundaries when you meet. So it's really important, like, if you think your kid's smoking or drinking, it's really important for you to search the bedroom when they're not there. And parents go, "Oh my God, it's his privacy." Well, when you find him dead, because you probably will, who do we blame? Well, we blame the both of you. So
Mm.
we can aid and we can help and we can be loving and we can be there for them when they need us, but not detrimental to our own health or my family at the same time. So when people are ready, they come. But until then, mom and dads, if you're thinking of paying a fortune for somebody to go into rehab and they're not ready, don't.
Yeah.
And I know it's horrible. And my mom and dad threw me out after my marriage. I moved back in with mom and dad, and my dad threw me out and threw me out. And do you know what? He never says a word ever since I was born. As a kid, he used to play with me, but very stout man, very quiet. Couldn't give him a present or a birthday gift. He'd too embarrassed. You'd have to put it away somewhere. But I was drinking in the house, which was a no-no. And he came up and he just said, "Son, you've got to go." Um, and I was like, "What, Dad? It's like 11 o'clock at night, Dad. It's pouring down. You've got to go, son." And he put some stuff in a little plastic carrier bag. He took me downstairs. He gave me, like, I don't know, the equivalent of $100 today. And he closed the door behind me.
Mm.
Now, many, many years later, when I'd got sober, I was in my mom's house talking to her, and Dad was out. And that night came up, and I said, Mom, I'd never really forgive that man for that. And what she said to me broke my heart. She said, "Son, in 55 years of being married to your father, that's the only time I saw him cry."
Mm. Gosh.
And it hits you, man. Until I
Yeah.
was ready, people were going out the way to help me. They were going broke by helping me. They trusted me. I let everybody down. But when it's time, it's time. Now, a lot of people don't make it. As you know, 60, 70, 80% of real alcoholics and addicts, they don't make it, man.
Yeah.
So the people that do make it, we have to make up for them, man. We have to save lives. We have to be out there. Like people go, "Whoa, going to if I go to AA meeting, like you shouldn't say your second name." I don't give a crap if somebody's dying of untreated alcoholism. They see me speak and go, "Oh my God, anyone know who Robb is?" No, I'm going to say my full name. Come and get me. I'm out. I'm loud. I'm boisterous. And I saw a thing in a magazine or a newspaper a few years ago, and I was doing a big conference, and it said the controversial doctor from Texas. I ain't controversial, but I'm going to tell you as it is. And if I think your son or loved one's going to die, I will tell you that because I'm sick to death of watching people die from lack of information about the disease.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And as you're saying that, I think of my past as well, and think of all the people that did not want to help themselves, and there was no saving them. When somebody is in that state of mind and they finally flip that switch and they make the promise, they are ready to get clean, they are ready to help themselves, what is the best first step for that individual, for their family member to do for them or for themselves?
The first thing we do with families, we tell them all the time to start dialogue. Don't stick it in the cupboard like we do. It's not a dirty disease. Don't think alcoholism is not a disease. It is. The brain, different parts of the brain will tell you that. So yeah, you start dialogue and then you carefully chat and you carefully look around for help. Now, 90% of people out there can't cure you. They just can't. They've not got the tools. They're not interested. It's a business they're running. So just be careful. I mean, you could call this office, and if you live well, I mean, we do telehealth all over the world, but we'll give you an answer straight, and if you're looking for X amount of money to go, we'll find you somewhere. But you know, the success rate of treatment centers is between 2 and 8%. Ours is 98%, and we're very proud of that with 11,000 patients. So you've got to be careful where you're putting your money, and you've got to be careful, even if it's insurance, because the insurance companies now, and rightly so, the insurance companies turned around years ago. Why should we pay for Johnny's 10th time in treatment?
Yeah.
So they're very careful. So choose where you want to go. Choose an established doctor or a therapist that's been through it.
Hmm.
But that's where you want to go. And
Yeah.
with the love of the family and the good help and the understanding of what they're going through, there's 100% success rate, man. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I love it. Call Dr. Robb Kelly. I mean, honestly, yeah, with your success rate, your story, your background, again, there's a track record there. And I want to emphasize to the people at my home in Oregon that are struggling, and whether it's a loved one, and if they seem as though they're ready, whether it's yourself or a loved one, reach out to Dr. Robb Kelly. I want to go ahead and just plug your phone number information right now as we're on the topic.
Yeah, call us direct, guys. I'll tell you what, listen, I've been a fan of Alexander's for a bit. He doesn't know this, guys, but I'm going to tell you now. So if anybody's listening to this show and is serious, 214-600-0210 is my personal cell phone number. Text me. And two things are going to happen, okay? If you're struggling, I'm going to text you back, and then we're going to arrange a phone call. And I'm going to give you a 20-minute talk that'll change your life. If it doesn't, I'll send you $100 for wasting your time. But if it's desperate and you need help, we work all over the world. We do telehealth, 95% telehealth, and we will work out something that works for you. We very rarely turn people away pertaining to the financial stuff. Now, so please do that, and I've got to preempt to that by saying, guys, and this sounds harsh, but bear with me after 30 years of the industry, is I don't care if you come on board or not, okay? I've turned millions and millions of checks down for millions of dollars, but if you are a good fit, then there's definitely something we can do. I have a sister company called Breathbox Studio, and it's software that realigns the brain and gets rid of self-sabotage, and it's healing stuff, guys. It's healing, memories, Alzheimer's, addiction, PTSD. I mean, that's very, very cheap. You could do that once or twice a week. So call us first. And again, I don't care whether you're coming or not. The only other thing I'd add to that, Alexander, is my wife runs the 24-hour line for parents and loved ones. So if your son or daughter's going through this, you get to call us, and I don't care if you call 100 times a day for a year. We will never charge you. They're there to help you and advise you, just like my mom and dad didn't get that.
Wow.
And people say you're insane, Rob. How much that cost you? I don't give a crap how much you can't put a price on this.
Mm.
But she's there, and my sister also moved here, and all three of them, if my sister's in, will sit down with mums and dads and loved ones for hours and hours and hours. And by the time you put the phone down, you'll have a good idea. No one's going to sell you anything. A good idea of what your son's going through or daughter, and where to get help.
Gosh, I love it. Reach out. You, a loved one, or otherwise, reach out. Absolutely reach out. I love what you're saying. And your heart shines through, buddy. Like it is so prominent and so it's so easy to see. And I wanted, you brought up something there and said, you're talking about trauma and addiction, and I feel as though, gosh, maybe trauma is different for everyone, right? The worst thing that one person has gone through is the worst thing that they've gone through. And I think maybe the word trauma is thrown around a little bit frivolously now, and
Yeah.
they're leaning on it, as well as anxiety. It's like, no, you should have nerves and butterflies and these feelings. You should embrace those, right? But I want to know if there is a correlation with trauma and addiction, or if those are they hand in hand, or are they talk to me a little bit about trauma and addiction.
So everybody has trauma, childhood trauma. It's there, whether it's abandonment or whatever, it's there. I don't care if you live in a $30 billion house or you live on the projects like me, it's there. So we have to uncover, discover, discard of that trauma and get rid of it, okay? So trauma is the gateway drug. Every alcoholic and addict are more sensitive to a trauma. So 100%, there's always trauma there, but the trauma sits in the subconscious brain. Now, I'm not a great believer of the therapist saying, well, it's big T's and small T's. If you're an alcoholic or addict or PTSD, there's no such thing as small T's. Because the craziest thing, it's not the plane crash or the divorce or, watching somebody get shot in the streets. That's not what we're talking about. The stuff that really controls our mind is the little slice something from caregivers at school. But that's just silly sneakers you've got on, Rob. Can your mum not afford any better than that? It's that stuff that tortures us, but it's subconscious brain stuff. So we don't know why we're self-sabotaging. We don't know why we can't keep a job, keep a girl. We don't know. We just think it's bad luck. It's not. It's subconscious brain work that you need to go in and again uncover what it's about. And this is where brain spotting comes in. Discover and discard of that stuff. If you don't discard of it, trauma will run your life. It will ruin your life, and you'll have no idea because it's subconscious work.
Talk to me about brain spotting. I've never even heard the term.
So there's a couple of things we use there that's kind of off the chain and really healing people, and one of them is brain spotting. So brain spotting has been around for a long time, and basically what it is it's like well before EMDR with the flashing lights. We just used like a wand with a red tip on it, and it's basically it's eye work. So when you follow something like a pointer across, especially if it's live, across your face like this, we're looking for the pupils, and when the pupils flicker, that's just hit a subconscious trauma point. So there's trauma there that needs to come out. Now, nothing's coming up for me, but you stay there with that pointer, and you may stay there, and they cannot take their eyes off the red pointer, and then you just sit in silence and you wait, and every single time they go, "Oh my God, my father molested me when I was a kid," and all this stuff. Because what happens is when a fixed gaze of the pupil happens, you have a direct input into the subconscious brain where all the bad stuff is.
Wow.
Yeah,
Gosh.
it's life changing. It's real. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is, and we get people all the time. Oh, no, I've got nothing. I'm fine. And now they come out bawling from the therapy room, and we know we've hit a home run, and now we can start treating that.
I love that. What are your thoughts on like all this modern day, like cold plunging sauna, like this, I don't know if it's just like outside sources to kind of cure the mind versus doing the inner work.
Yeah,
What are
what a
your
great
thoughts on the modern
question.
culture?
Man, what a great question. So before I say anything, I'm a great friend with Gary Brecker, so I've got to put that out there. I've just spoke to him 2 minutes ago, so
Shout
he's
out
a
to
fan
Gary.
of all these. But Saunas will will add another 20 years onto your life. We know that from the new research that's being done. Cold plunges, there isn't any medical evidence that prolongs your life or anything like that. You just shock in the system. Getting a cold shower, you'll be fine. So yeah, I
Why
mean,
why
I'm
pro Oh, I'm sorry. Why
no,
prolong
no.
a life for 20 years if you're mentally just exhausted, you're beat up, you have these negative loops running through your mind, you know?
Well, that's all part of the healing.
Yeah.
Everybody can heal 100%. And this is part of it. So yeah, the medical grade red light therapy that we use also adds years onto your life and clears the pathways. And when all this happens together, you become a different person and you have a different life. But everything else, you got to be careful what vitamins you take. Most vitamins, oh God, I can't remember the word. Have cyanide in them. Probably 95% of stuff from the local market or something. So be careful what you have. If you can't afford a gene test, get it done. See what you can't methylate inside the body. So all illnesses come to two things, guys. Okay, you ready, guys? It comes to what am I being poisoned by,
Mm,
and what am I deficient in? So toxicity and deficiency.
mm,
And people say, I don't understand the deficiency. Well, here's how deficiency works. So today we can go into the supermarket around the corner and we can shop for a week's groceries for a family. 90% of that week's groceries will be absolutely fake food, rancid oils, which are damaging the body.
mhm,
So let's say, for instance, I can't methylate beans. I don't know, I can't. So I go to the store, and my family used to love beans, so I'm eating beans every day, just like my family did, but I can't methylate. So the food we eat is not used in the source that the body needs. It has to be methylated into a source that the body can use. Well, if I can't methylate beans, there becomes a deficiency in the body. The deficiency causes the cancers, the heart disease, all that stuff. As a common doctor in all of that stuff. So when people say, "Oh, my dad used to have heart problems, and obviously he's been passed down. I've got heart problems." Biologically impossible. You just can't methylate the same stuff that dad can't methylate, for instance, and
mm.
that's where it comes from. If you're short of methylation, there's a deficiency. So what am I being poisoned by, and what am I not taking? That's
Yeah.
it. And then if
Yeah,
you do
and
if you do buy vitamins, make sure they're good ones, like methylated vitamin or something like that. Don't fall for the organic. No, it doesn't always mean it's best, but
yeah.
methylated vitamins are really good.
Yeah, yeah, and so where do you have a specific brand or somebody that like, can we send people to a company that has just the slew of vitamins that the body needs in order to, not be poisoned essentially?
100%. We do all of that.
You
We
do?
do all of that. We do
Oh,
every vitamin that's made from scratch, not supermarket. It's actually made in a lab, uh, pure stuff. But yeah, we do all of that. We do diets, we do exercises, we help you build businesses, we'll get you a job, or all this stuff around your health. See what you're eating healthy. We'll get you a gene test,
I need to
and
do
you
all of
become a
that.
superhuman.
Yeah, yeah, I
You
need to
know,
do all of that because
yeah.
being a type 1 diabetic who has Crohn's disease, I'm suffering horrendously. I've been suffering all
Mhm.
morning in the last week with my Crohn's, and, I've had it for so many years, but it's everything that's good for diabetes is bad for Crohn's, right? And so
Oh yeah, yeah,
this balancing act has been so tough. And like you said, it feels as though 98% of everything that you get at the grocery stores is absolute trash. It doesn't
yeah.
matter if you're getting the A2 milk or
No,
the unprocessed organic, this, that, the third. It
no.
all feels the same. It all
Yeah,
feels the
yeah.
same.
And it's
And it's
killing us.
Mhm.
So when we look at the world today, the food industry gets us sick, and the pharmaceutical companies keep us sick.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the bottom line. So if you're coming off heroin, the doctor puts you on Suboxone as a taper. I'm going to say that again, taper. Then it's awesome. But if you're on a taper 6 months, 7 months after, you're still a drug addict and you're still taking drugs. Let's get real about this. Don't be all this fake crap out there. It's going to kill you. So if there's four chemicals every day that need to happen in the brain. Uh, which everybody probably knows: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. We all know that. And the two main neurotransmitters in that group would be dopamine and serotonin, for instance. But what a lot of people don't know is serotonin and endorphins are created in the gut. So show me somebody who has gut issues, and I'll show you someone that suffers from depression, because
Mm.
it's all tied in. And
Mhm.
guys, just in case you're not sure what depression looks like, let me show you. Hey Jimmy, I'm doing great, man. I can't wait. I'll see you tomorrow, okay? And they go back to the house and cry themselves to sleep. That's what depression looks like. It's not the guy in the corner that doesn't want to speak to anybody. He may have depression, but he's not the guy that's going to walk home, get a gun, and boom, he's gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's when you
Yeah.
get to the suicide part of this and the depression, there's no warning with that stuff. You don't get, if somebody says to me, I'm thinking of suicide, it's not a pinch of salt, guys. You know, we're gonna make sure that he doesn't, and provide everything one. But the guys that are really affected psychologically, there's no warning.
Mm.
There's my wife's brother at the big barbecue they're all having. He's got his kids, alcoholic. He's been sober for 6 months. Says to my wife, I'm going home for a bit. You'll let alcohol. I'll leave the kids and the wife here. And the camera outside the house shows him pulling up to the house, opening the garage door, walking in the garage door, and you hear a bang. And he just shot himself in the head.
Wow.
That is depression. And we have a lot of this with PTSD with our vets. I'm huge on vets. No vet pays to come here. No, I don't do that. I became an American about 7 years ago, and I am very proud of that. So if England went to war with America, because people, I'm American, and I have been for 7 years. So when I say the supermarkets are crap and da da da, and this country, but I say it from my heart, because I want to change that, and I've been trying to change it for 30 years, and we're getting there. Eventually, we're getting there.
Mm. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that, because I have so many friends as well that are in the military, ex-military, and gosh, yeah, I can just think of how many of them are struggling. So I I want you to know that this episode is going to be very pivotal. Not only are you going to be helping a lot of the people that I grew up around and my family and their friends' friends, and but Kayla and I, give me where I need to go to get all these supplements, to get the test for my blood, and to understand what I'm missing and what I need.
Yeah, just you personally can call me personally, but for the average person, just hit the website. If you're listening, not watching, I actually spell my name with two B's, ROBBKELLY.com is the website. Jump on there. There's phone numbers. There's all kinds of stuff. You can get help. But yeah, so I'm a concierge doctor, which means we encompass everything around you as a person. Now, the staff and the therapist in all offices deal with people like me, average people, average working class people. I still class myself as that. Uh, but yeah, we cover everything. We build superhuman people,
Mm.
whether you like it or not.
I love it. I love it. It's going to be so life altering to be able to look at my biomarkers through and through, and I really resonate with what you said in the fact that they get you sick and keep you sick. I don't think I would be a type 1 diabetic if energy drinks were never a thing, if Bud Light was never a thing. Um,
100%. And you know what we say as well? What we see is this is, Mrs. Smith comes in, and I'll sit in front of her and I go, okay, Mrs. Smith, how are you? Oh, I'm very depressed. Oh, I'm sorry. How long has that been going on? About 10 years. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Do you take anything for that? Yeah, I take Wellbutrin. How long have you been taking the Wellbutrin? 5 years.
yeah.
When did you think it's going to kick in?
Yeah.
When do you
Come on.
think it's going to start working? Because it's been
Yeah.
5 years and it's still not kicked in. What the?
Yep.
And we see this with people all the time. Go to medical. I will never go to a medical doctor for my general health ever again.
Mm.
Ever again. Now, if
Yeah.
I have a heart attack or break my leg, fine. But for my general house, never, never again will I go, because they don't know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I experience that firsthand all the time. All the time. I actually have somebody coming over to my house tomorrow to give me an immunosuppressant that I have to take once every 8 weeks to suppress honestly, just hearing that out loud is such a scary thing. I'm injecting my body with something that is there to suppress my immune system so my stomach ultimately does not attack itself. Unreal.
Yeah.
Does it help? Yes. Is it temporary? Yes. Do they say I have to be on it for the rest of my life? They do. And that is type 1 diabetes, insulin, and an immunosuppressant for the rest of my life. I have fought my way out of needing that immunosuppressant before. I've gone a couple of years without it, which was incredible. But nonetheless, they got me. You motherfuckers.
Right.
You know,
I think what we need to realize on a broader scale is we heal from the inside out. We
truly.
don't heal from the outside in. So any drugs that we're taking for depression, psych only, guys, are doing us more harm than anything else. And
Yeah.
the mind controls everything. The body cannot get sick without the mind's buy-in. And we've seen this with, loads of experiments. We've done thousands of experiments ourselves. Once you convince of something, like there was a surgeon in Germany, and he got 10 people in that needed surgery on their knee. They need knee replacements. And the idea was that everybody could come in and have free of charge, but two, maybe three of those would be the placebo effect. We're not going to fix your knee, but obviously you're never going to know which one it is. What they didn't tell them is the guys that were not having the surgery, they still cut the knee open as if they did.
Mm.
A few months on, the guys that never had the surgery but thought they did walked great for the rest of their lives. Two of them people who had the surgery, and you know where I'm going with this. And there was another great one in England where there was a security guard at this big trucking place, the refrigerated trucking places. And part of his nighttime shift was to go around and make sure that all the doors were open. There were no packages in. And they're always known for kids in the area to keep the kids out. And he's doing his rounds and he sees now all these refrigeration trucks obviously have to keep on overnight because it can't start it cold in the morning. And then there's several that are not used. He sees this packaging at the back of one of the trucks. So he gets in, and for whatever happens, we still don't know, the back door slammed and he couldn't get out. And they found him about 19 hours later, and they opened the back of the trucks, and there he was at the back of the truck, and he'd frozen to death.
Oh,
But the
God.
crazy thing is, it was 79 degrees in that truck.
Whoa.
But because his mind told him that these are the ones that was plugged in, he was going to freeze to death, and he froze to death. And it was 79 degrees. It was quite warm in there, actually. But yeah, it's the mind is, the research we've done in the mind and the brain is excuse upon mind blowing when you realize what you can do. If you're not living your best life, if you're not, if money's your deal, why aren't you taking $1 million a year? Well, it's because no, it's all here. Once we can check all the stuff that you've wanted, all of your life is around you right now. But because of childhood trauma and stuff that you're going through even today, you're not seeing the opportunities. Once we clear the mind and clear the subconscious mind of all this crap that we don't need, that's been thrown in our life, we start to see the opportunities. Because anybody can be anything. Because what I would hate, guys, is for you to sit there like 80 or 90 years old or 70 years old, look back in your life and realize two major things. One, there was nobody watching you. And two, you really could have done anything you wanted to do.
Truly. Gosh, well said. Well said. Dr. Robb Kelly, your time is very important, and I appreciate you so much for coming on to the show. Before we let you go, I do want to know what people can implement today to help their mental health. What is something that
Yeah.
can be done now?
Guys, I'm going to change your life.
Tonight's episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by Mike Silkowski. He's your local partner in getting your message in front of the right people. Mike specializes in helping businesses right here in Southern Arizona reach their ideal customers through TV and streaming services. He's not just sponsoring this chapter 3 of People Helping People, he's building partnerships, and he doesn't succeed unless you do. If you're ready to grow your business with someone who's invested in your success, call Mike at 515-305-5311. Again, that's 515-305-5311.
We're going to change your life from tomorrow, okay? All right. It takes a couple of minutes to explain. Bear with me, guys. But if you do these things, your life will change from tomorrow. Absolutely change. Impossible not to. One of the reasons that nobody's woke up laughing ever is lack of oxygen. So when every single disease in the body starts in a hypoxic area of the body, because we only breathe 45% of our lung capacity. When we go to the gym or we're cycling and running and we feel great, it's not the exercise, it's this. We're getting the oxygen in. And it's important that we do that. So when we wake up with no oxygen, so between 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning on a normal circadian sleep pattern is when the body is at its rest. Very little oxygen, the body is repairing. It's also when most people die of natural causes. So when we wake up, we're lack of oxygen. So the subconscious brain wakes us up. That's oh my God, I got to take the kids to school. Oh my God, the boss might be on. All that stuff. That guy runs the day most of the time if you don't do this, guys. And that guy, that's why you can't get the job, you can't get the girl, you can't get the house, the car, you can't live this life. The subconscious brain rules the brain. How do we get rid of that? Here we go. We need to completely get flood oxygen from the brain, the cells, every single cell in your body. And the way we do that is wake up in the morning, sit on the bed, don't stand because you will go dizzy. If you don't, you're not doing it right. And I need you to take 20 exaggerated breaths in and out. Make a funny face, like as much oxygen, get it out, as much oxygen, get it out. Do that 20 times, guys. Okay. After you've gone a little bit dizzy, you'll come around in a few seconds. And when you're ready to stand up, go into the bathroom. Now let's look at changing pathways and changing our perspective of who the hell we are. I want you to stand in front of the mirror and we're going to stuff the subconscious brain with stuff. And what it is you say, I love you 10 times, but, and here's the big but, stand 6 feet away from the mirror. When we start close to the mirror, so don't do it while you're doing your shaving, guys, or women makeup on, because when we're close to the mirror, we see all our blemishes. So when we go out to the world, we think that's how people see us. When's the last time you went into work? Hey, Jimmy, good to see you. We don't do that. So when we stand 6 feet away, the optical illusion, our blemishes disappear. That's how people see us. So automatically we're getting a little bit confident that we're a bit more, nicer looking than we thought we was. Look at the hair. It's pretty good today. And then let's change some pathways around, okay? If you brush your teeth with your right hand, I need a week on the left, week on the right, week on the left, and a week on the right. Change the patterning. Everything's about patterning pertaining to the brain. Like if you go out on a works outing to the seaside, you get on a bus, like there's 20 guys, you go down, you have a few beers, you act the fool, you eat too much, you get back on the bus, which seat do you sit in? It's usually the one you've traveled there in. So these patterns are there that we don't know. So we have to start changing it. Compliment 3 people every single day and practice smiling. If you do all of them 5 things, your life will change from tomorrow. It's biologically impossible that it won't.
Wisdom. Dr. Robb Kelly, you are an absolute legend. I just thank you so much. You give me so much hope about this world that we are now living in, to see other people being the light that they want to see in the world, being the change, being that person. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Thank you for all the wisdom that you share. And your word has so much value, and I honor your time, Dr. Robb Kelly. Thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Absolutely. Bye. Come on. So good. Dr. Robb Kelly. Wow. I hope you guys took as much from this interview as I did. I know I will be sitting and reminiscing and listening back to this episode multiple times and implementing so much of what he brought to this conversation. I think that there's something to be said about the beautiful arc of somebody going through so much and then pulling out the other side, coming out that other side with so much experience, but wanting to share that experience with others and help. So he gave us so many outlets to better yourself, to better your family. And he is here to do just that in the world. And so again, my hat is tipped to you, Dr. Robb Kelly. Amazing. And he's going to be helping me health-wise. I'm super grateful. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this incredible episode of People Helping People. As you guys know,
peoplehelpingpeoplelive.com. If you subscribe to us, we take 100% of your subscription and give it to people that are in need. So right now, we are earning money to give some kids in foster homes good backpacks. That's the goal. They need backpacks, and it sounds as though every time they do get backpacks, they're cheap, they suck. So here we are at People Helping People, bringing community together, because we know not everybody has outlets to help the world, and we want to show you the difference that you guys are making. So we love you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. If you haven't already, give us a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We love y'all. We'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.